I waited 3 months for these bad boys and they're finally here. Stay tuned. Nerdy dude stuff. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, actually not algorand this time, and all that good stuff. For those of you first time here at the channel, please take a moment to consider hitting that subscribe button, tickling the thumbs up, the like button, maybe turning on the bell notification, leaving a comment on this video. Obviously, this is totally a different day than my last video that I recorded because I changed my hat. And with it being a different day, per se, it's a different beer. So for those of you keeping track at home, we are drinking another beer from our beer box called Apricot Blonde. It's a blonde ale brewed with apricot puree, brought to you by Dry Dock Brewing Company based out of Colorado. Another great addition from that beer drop box. So let's go ahead and give that a quick pour, take a quick look at it, and a good sip before we get into today's topic. And I like to give my beer a little bit of head at the top just to release that CO2 in there. A little bit more. Look at that. The perfect pour, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers to you guys. Why are we so excited for our helium miners? We have been waiting 3 months for them to come in. They are on a massive back order. What exactly is a helium miner? A helium miner is called a proof of coverage mining program, essentially. In a nutshell, we have these miners, and I purchased two Bobcat Miner 300s, and what they do is you connect them to your Wi-Fi. You have to connect them at a certain distance apart, so even though I have two, I can't have two in my house, so I moved one to my in-laws, and what they do is they provide coverage for the Helium network for transactions and stuff to bounce off. If you're familiar with big cities, a good example with this would be if you see those like little scooters that are out there and people can walk up and rent those scooters using their phone. Those are run off of a network similar to the Helium network. And what happens is you run these little hotspot miners. They do provide proof of coverage. They do transactions back and forth, and one miner witnesses another miner, and then you get paid out rewards in Helium. Let's take a look at the Helium token at the moment. It is currently sitting at $12.66. I know there's a couple of YouTubers out there like Voscoin that believe this might 50x or 100x. You know, don't take my word or his word for it. Always do your own research. But what exactly is Helium? Helium, let's just read it here. Helium is a decentralized blockchain powered network through Internet of Things, IoT devices, i.e., where's my damn box? Oh, I put them away already. I.e., those Helium miners. And then it was launched in July of 2019. The Helium mainnet allows low-powered wireless devices to communicate with each other and send data across its network of nodes. So every node is essentially one of those Helium miners that I'm going to show you here in a moment. And the reason why they're low-powered is it costs like not even $1 a month to run these things. All you do is you set it up. You'll see where I set my first one up momentarily, and then you let it run. You connect it to your smartphone on Bluetooth, which is your Helium wallet, all that stuff, and you let it go. Very, very exciting. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of other information about this. But what we're covering today is just the simple fact that if you want to get into cryptocurrency mining, truly it is mining, but it's proof of coverage. It's not proof of stake or proof of work. You don't need these big fancy equipment and these big fancy rigs that take up so much power. You can literally get one of these bad boys that looks like a tiny router, set it up near a window with an antenna, and you're good to go. Let's take a look at mine that I have. Here we've got these two bad boys. We have just unboxed them, and look at the size of these things. They are smaller than your average router, smaller than your average modem. They've got plenty of extension cords to run those antennas, and you can tuck them away next to a window, you know, just where you can run an antenna outside just to get mining. Here we're going to show my setup with my one miner, and I have a very similar setup at my in-laws house where I tuck the miner right over here on the right side of my window, and then we just run that antenna right up to the top. Now I recommend running it up high like this because you want to get it over that screen mesh to make sure that you get away from any metal, because that will typically hinder some of the antenna power for sending out your signal. This isn't really a how-to video per se, but the setup for these things are incredibly easy. I have mine set up and running, and right now they're syncing with the blockchain, which takes about 24 hours before they start to fire off, and I'm going to show you where I've positioned them in location here shortly. But if you order them, it's about a 20-week wait right now. So I'm really not going to leave any links in the description. This is more of like my video journal about how to, just because I don't want to set up anyone with false expectations about getting theirs in. I waited 3 months for mine, and any orders after May 1st are taking 5 to 7 months to complete. But if you do manage to get yourselves one, or you get one, or you're waiting on one and you're very excited, the setup is so easy. All you do is you open the package, you download the Helium Hotspot app on iOS or Android, and then once you have that downloaded, it walks you through exactly what you need to do. And it's so simple. You plug the device in, you turn on the Bluetooth pairing, you pair it with the app, and then it tells you the next step. And then once that fires off, it then takes a couple of minutes to authorize and approve on the blockchain, and then it starts syncing with the blockchain, and then you can start looking at positioning. We'll take a look at that here in a second. As you can see on the screen, once you have everything fired up and ready to go, it's going to show you two things. You need to have the hotspot miners sync with the blockchain, which could take up to 24 hours, and then they also need to be authorized, which takes about 15 to 20 minutes. That was a big thing that I wish I knew when I was actually setting these bad boys up, because I was refreshing the app and it wasn't doing anything until I maybe went and took a shower and then played a little bit of Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 5, and then came back and saw that they finally approved and started syncing on the blockchain. Now, jumping into positioning and where you want to make sure you locate your hotspot miners, and the reason why I purchased 2 and didn't put 2 in my house is that you need to make sure they're at least 350 meters apart for them to be able to have that coverage, because this is called proof of coverage work, and you're not really covering much space if you have 2 in the same location. So I put 1 at my house and then 1 at one of my family members' house, which is about 2 miles away. And you can also look at the coverage of other miners here on explore.helium.com. You can see there's 72,000 miners that are currently active. And so with mine being up already today, I already have mine blipped right here on the map. And then you can see kind of here where, in a closer detail on what the app shows, or here on what the app shows as the coverage that I have, and I really like that spacing. Right out of the box, these miners state that they have about a 10-mile radius of coverage. So if there's miners within 10 miles of you, so looking at this map right here, we're going to say this is actually a miner of mine and this is a miner of mine as well. This is all within 10 miles of each other. Technically, since I'm in Florida and there's not a lot of land, or there's not a lot of like forestry or anything, and I'm actually kind of sitting at the top of the hill, technically on paper with the stock antenna that these bad boys come with, I can hopefully ping to all these other miners. So I've got my 2 right in the center, and I want them all to ping back and forth to these other green dots that are online, so I can get most of that proof of coverage rewards, and I can witness the transactions that those are doing. All right, the last thing I'm going to say that you guys really need to be careful on when you get your Helium Hotspot miner, no matter how long it takes, don't go on eBay and buy them, because they're selling for like $3,000 a pop, and those people might already have them synced up to their mobile apps, and they have to transfer them to a different Helium wallet. I wouldn't trust it, especially with it being $3,000. Just drop the 500 and wait the 5 or 6 months. They'll come in, you're going to miss the happening, whatever. But when they come in, if you buy 2, like me and my buddy Daily Mint, what we ended up doing was we set them up in our own houses. We set 2 of them up, and then we had the idea to reposition them after they sync to the blockchain. The problem with that is that when you open them, you get 1 free positioning, and then anytime you want to reposition your Helium Hotspot miner after that, it's going to cost you essentially 1. It's about $10.55, but it's going to cost you 1 Helium. So if you're going to open it up and you're going to do what I did, where I put mine at my family member's house, I would just recommend opening it up, putting it there, and going and saving yourself $10. It takes 5 minutes to set up, not even, especially if you've got the app already downloaded on your phone. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me, Telegram, Discord, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. Otherwise, please take a moment to consider hitting that subscribe button, turning on the bell notification, liking this video, leaving a comment. And we're going to touch base here in about a week to see how our 2 miners bounce back and forth off of each other with that block of miners in our area, to see what our Helium rewards are going to be. Hopefully, we can do an ROI pretty quick in this platform, because we spent $1,000 on these 2 miners, and we really want to see those returns as fast as possible, especially with the happening of the Helium token, which we'll get more into that in other videos in the future, coming in August, and it's currently the end of June. So turn on the bell notification, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm O'Prius, and we'll see you guys next time.